Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pile of Potential Hobbies. Just got what should be a quick video today. It's going to be a hobby update, what I've been working on painting wise over the past week or so. So, no review today, but like I said, it should be a quick one. Up first is going to be the Cultist from the Cultist 1 and 2 sprues that I recently reviewed from North Star Military Figures. The models were a lot of fun to put together. I did some kit bashing between the two kits just to make them look, in my mind, even cooler. I didn't go for so much a uniform look. There's colors shared between the models, not all of them. Red's pretty dominant, and turquoise is another dominant color. But I tried to make their main articles of clothing more browns and grays and blacks, just to give them a more ragged appearance. And not exactly camouflage like in Frostgrave or any other game where you would need cultists, but in the idea of trying to blend in Frostgrave and the ruins and stuff like that, in a way. I know they're shown predominantly gray, but the browns and everything, blacks and grays, kind of urban camo without being urban camo, I guess is the best way to put it. But that's enough rambling from me. Let's get started. I'll show you each one individually. So up first, if I can get my big hand out of the way, is this guy who I gave this awesome looking glaive. Like I said, red and turquoise are the two predominant colors. Let me see. Get him in some better light here. Yeah. But really cool, really happy with the way he turned out. I did slap chop as the painting style for these guys, just because that's how I like to paint. And plus, black primer was the only primer I had at the time, so it was easiest just to prime them black, and then go over them with some dry brushing of gray and ivory from Vallejo Model Color is what I used, and then just used Citadel contrast paints to make them stick out, or make the color stick out. So, like I said, I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I've still got them on their quote-unquote paint handles, but up next is this guy as I bump into the camera here. He's got a torch and cool looking sickle kind of weapon from the Frostgrave 2 kit, or the Cultist 2 kit, just like the glaive is from the Cultist 2 kit. The weapons are really, really cool in that kit, and I just wanted to get them on these Cultist 1 bodies just to see how they would look, and I'm very happy with the way they turned out. This is my first time attempting to do fire. I think it looks okay. You can tell that it's fire, but it's not the best looking, but you can tell it's fire on a torch. So that works for me. Up next, I've got a crossbowman. This is all from the Frostgrave 1 kit. I painted as mask silver, as that's what it was shown with the artwork for the Cultist 1 that I could find, like official looking artwork. But I don't know how practical that is, but still looks cool. Very happy with the way he turned out. I'm very happy with the way all of these turned out, but this crossbow with all the points and stuff on it looks pretty serious. Up next, another guy, all from the Cultist 1 kit, is a dude that looks like he's had better days. At least his face has. He's got a cool wicked spear. This is one of the dudes I showed off when showing the models put together, but like I've got him like kind of reaching out like he's going to get somebody, and he's got that spear to prod them with, keep them in line, or whatever the case may be. But you can see the browns on this guy especially. Just as a color, I tried to stick with just different shades of brown. I think I used all of the browns I have that are contrast colors from Citadel on these guys, and like I've said, happy with the way he turned out. I may go back and do his skin later and highlight it and everything, but pretty happy with how it looks at the moment. And then finally, from the Cultist 1 kit, is this guy here. As you can see, the red and the turquoise working together there. But he's really cool. He's got a skull on his back there and some kind of poison, I'm assuming, since it's got a snake on it, or venom even, for nefarious uses. But his sword, really cool. I used the Army Painter Speed Paint Broadsword Silver on the metallics, and I'm pretty happy with the way they came out. I went over them with Agrax Earthshade to kind of darken them down and give them a little bit of a rust look. Kind of like a culty look, I guess you could say. So that turned out pretty cool. I haven't used it a ton. Still kind of iffy on the metallic speed paints. But yeah, I think they turned out good here. Next is all Cultist 2 kit from the Cultist 2 sprue. Is this really sinister looking one here with the cool looking axe. The extra stuff you can do to like upgrade these, or to upgrade these models and just put packs on them and stuff like that is just really cool. The antlers, I think, look really cool on this one. It just adds to that weird, wacky, culty look. So, yeah. Next is an archer with a lot of chains on it, on her. And the bow I did in a dark brown. I know more than likely it'd be probably a light brown, maybe. But it's a fantasy world, so I can paint it however I want. And yeah, this one I did in predominantly all brown. Basically, I think these two are the same shade of brown. I had to go back and paint that. I had missed it. But that's okay. And just to, if you've got your cultist in a forest or, a wooded area or whatever, or something like that, that helps her blend in and be maybe a little bit more sneaky. This one is a Cultist 1 head on a Cultist 2 body, but everything else is Cultist 2. These Cultist 2 weapons are really cool because they have like these pock marks on them to make them look more ragged, or the steel's not as high quality, or it's not taken as well care of. And I think that's really cool. It's just another little touch that kind of tells a story to, if you couldn't tell from how they look, their weapons, like they're just a bunch of people that's come together with a common belief and aren't good guys. But here's the next to last one. I did a light blue, like a gray blue, a Space Wolves gray, on this one for the main color. And I wish I would have used it more across the models, like for main colors, because I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It's not bright, but like it's vibrant at the same time, if that makes sense. I don't know, to me it does, or is. So I think that's really cool. And then last from the Cultist, because I've got 2 more things to show you, is this one with the hammer and sword, kind of like a, as we'd say here call it here in the South, a Bowie knife, machete even, and a hammer. And it's just a wicked combination. So yeah, I'm very happy with the way all 10 of them turned out. Once I reviewed the kit, I had to immediately put them together, prime them, and they were next in the queue. So yeah, I think they're really cool. I'm gonna get some more. I want to get more of these sprues to do some kit bashing, maybe for like Trench Crusade, Stargrave. I've seen where the Stargrave kits can go really good together on these guys and gals, so that's something I want to look at. But I'm very happy with them. Next is a Singular Skeleton from Northstar. Or I say skeleton, it's a Revenant from their Oathmark range that I'm going to use for Frostgrave. That's why I've done the base the same as the Cultist. This one was just a quick paint job with some leftover paints I had on the palette that I didn't want to go to waste, and then just gave the metals a wash. The metallics, I used Brazen Copper from that Speed Paint metallic range from Army Painter, and then it's just Plaguebearer Flesh for the skin, and I think he looks... I think it looks really cool. And then last but certainly not least, is this Gargoyle from Reaper Bones. Everything this week is going to be used for Frostgrave. That's why all the bases look the same. But I had this guy 60 to 80% finished on my desk for way too long. And finished him up this week. Or in the past week. And did his base earlier today. It was just a Khaki from Vallejo was the base coat, and then I went back with Carrick Stone from Citadel as a dry brush over everything. Really gives some definition, really looks really cool. Bonus points if you can name the character in the show that this guy looks like he's from the early or late 90s, early 2000s. It was a Disney show, but bonus points to you. So that's going to be everything from me, guys, for this one. Like I said, I thought this was going to be a quick hobby update, but I really like talking about what I painted, and I'm really happy with how it all turned out. So it's turned into a little bit of a longer video, but I'm going to try to do these maybe once a week, every 2 weeks, just when I've got it. Well, I feel like I've got enough to show off that I've painted, and that'll determine how often I release these. But I hope you enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions or anything, maybe some of the paints I used, or how to be a better painter and not an awful painter like myself, feel free to leave comments. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.